I just got a question that I thought was a really good question because I think it's something that people ask themselves a lot. And that question was, should I work in a, like the specific question was, should I work in big tech or should I do freelancing? And obviously, there's a whole plethora of options in between there. And big tech is kind of, I see it as basically just should I get a regular software engineering job, or should I do freelancing? That's how I'm going to reframe the question, because big tech is just a regular job, right? That you specifically train for that interview process for, and then okay, you can get into big tech, but at the end of the day, it's just a regular job. They just pay twice as much, right? But if you don't like working a regular software engineering job, you probably won't like working in big tech, and vice versa. Okay, so let's dig into this question. There's a book, well, two resources that I'll point you. A short one, it's like a 30-minute video, and I'm gonna link it below. It's called How to Be a Loser and Be 37. How to be a 37-year-old loser with no income or something like that. Like it's a funny, kind of like self-deprecating title. And the short answer is go straight out of college with no experience and no skills and not knowing jack shit about anything and try to be freelance software developer. That's the short answer of what they say in the video. To be a freelance engineer, you got to understand that you're not really, like, your success doesn't really hinge primarily on your engineering skills. Your success hinges on your entrepreneurial skills. So your prospecting and your closing skills are going to be, your prospecting, networking, and closing skills are going to be what determines your financial success. You can be a shit engineer. May not even do any engineering at all, and you just delegate everything. In order to grow the company, you also need to be able to identify talent. And there's a lot, I'm obviously oversimplifying, but there's a lot more that goes into it. But like, without that cornerstone of like networking, prospecting, and closing, you're not going to succeed as a freelancer. And you got to realize that has nothing to do with engineering. So if you went to school for whatever, electrical engineering, and you like technology or software engineering, and you like the code, and you like the technical challenge aspect of this type of work, like, you're going to be doing something totally different, and your success is going to hinge on something totally different. So that's the first thing to understand. Now, that may be for you, right? I believe I have done freelancing myself. I think that I learned a lot from that. Mostly what I'm telling you now, like, I learned like what skills I needed to have that I didn't. And I learned that like being an actual like good engineer and producing great work doesn't really matter for many reasons. One of them is that like people don't see it up close, right? Second one being that there's a limited virality component, if you will, to this market. Like, it's not like everybody has, consulting for software engineering gigs available. So even if you do great work once, like, that will land you out like a referral once in a blue moon. Like, very, very rarely will land you in a referral, which, gets back to your prospecting skills, which I didn't have, because I know that you can extract referrals. Like, if you can keep in touch with previous clients and you can keep calling them, you can extract referrals from there and then go, and enhance your lead flow. But then the other reason why writing good code and doing good work is not greatly important to your success as a freelancer is that most projects get abandoned. Most people who will hire you to develop something I don't know if most or whatever, but like, there's two very, very common situations that happen when you're freelancing. Number one, somebody has an app idea, right? So somebody has this app idea, they have this dream, you build it for them, they put it in the app store, and they realize that that's like 1% of the journey, and they're not up for it. They're not up for many different reasons that I could make a whole nother entire video about, but they're just not up for it. And then they abandon the app, they abandon their dream, and then like, that's it. Your project dies. So you don't get that. The holy grail of freelancing is like a continued engagement from clients. So that doesn't happen in this case. Like, the project just dies and you're back to square zero, and you're not generating any hours or billing any hours from this client. And number two is, a lot of times consultants are being brought into a larger company to do some pet project for somebody that also gets abandoned. So a lot of software engineering work that ends up happening is just like trash. That it's either, somebody's pet project within a company or somebody's pet project outside of a company, and it gets abandoned, and then you don't see anything it doesn't get any utilization, and because it doesn't get any utilization, you were not top of mind, and it doesn't generate referrals. It's very difficult to generate referrals with it, because at the end of the day, even though it wasn't your fault as the engineer, you just implemented the thing, you didn't add any value, right? So I would say that like that's kind of like the life of a freelancer is more about prospecting and selling and trying to grow a business than it is about engineering. And now, like a lot of times, you do get a solid start as a freelancer. For example, me, like when I spent a couple of years doing freelancing, I had one solid client that gave me a lot of work. They paid $150 an hour. So, okay, yeah, that if you're launching into freelancing from that perspective, then okay, that's good. But if you're gonna launch into freelancing from, okay, let me start up my Upwork profile and let me start, you're like 26 years old, you don't have business contacts, it's a tough road. It's a great recipe to make like a tenth of the money that you could have made otherwise. Now, working in a software engineering job doesn't have to be big tech. Big tech can be a thing that you get into. There's a bunch of different things that you're gonna learn at big tech. Some of them good, some of them bad. There's bureaucracy. There's great aspects to working in big tech. So my favorite thing is that everybody's smart. Like when you work in small tech companies, there's just a lot of people that just suck, both in an interpersonal level, like they're not emotionally intelligent. They'll yell during meetings and stuff like that. And also at the technical level, they suck and they think they're awesome. So that really doesn't happen in big tech. And there's also bad things, like there's bureaucracy, like everything is super hard to do, like the standards for everything are super high, there's red tape and whatever, there's good and bad with everything, but they do pay like twice or three times as much as everybody else. But on the other, so the contrast is freelancing versus engineering job. Engineering job, you're likely to make 10 times as much money your first couple of years. And if your focus is technical, if what you want to do is actually code, then forget about freelancing, because in order to succeed at freelancing, you're gonna spend your time and the skills that you're gonna be honing are not coding. So that's what I have to say. Hopefully this helps.